Have you scrolled through your TikTok or Instagram lately and felt like you stepped into a digital twilight zone? You know exactly what I'm talking about. One minute you're watching a cat video, and the next, your screen is flooded with neon-colored ads promising $1 wireless earbuds, $5 floral sundresses, and high-tech kitchen gadgets for the price of a gumball. It's everywhere. It feels like a fever dream where money doesn't have any value anymore. Why is the internet suddenly obsessed with these insanely cheap prices? Welcome to the Ultimate Retail Showdown, a battle that is currently shaking the very foundation of how we buy everything. We are witnessing a massive disruption that nobody saw coming just a few years ago. Two mysterious giants from overseas, Shein and Temu, have landed on American shores. And they aren't just competing, they are completely rewriting the rules of the game. For years, we all thought Amazon was the undisputed king of convenience and low prices. If you wanted something cheap and fast, you went to the big A without thinking twice. But suddenly these two new players, the disruptors, have entered the chat and managed to make even Amazon look, well, kind of expensive. How is that even possible? It's a total head scratcher. We're used to the luxury of 2-day shipping, but these apps are asking us to wait a little longer in exchange for prices that seem physically impossible. It's like a digital flea market that never closes, right in your pocket. These companies are playing a high-stakes game of chicken with the old guard, retail titans like Walmart and Target. While the big brands are struggling with inflation and supply chain issues, Shein and Temu are out here acting like the traditional laws of economics don't apply to them. It's chaotic, it's fast, and it's honestly a bit terrifying for anyone with a traditional physical storefront. If you think this is just a small trend for kids, think again. The numbers behind this growth are absolutely astronomical. Wall Street executives are literally losing sleep over the data coming out of these apps every month. We're talking about billions of dollars in valuation and growth curves that look like a rocket ship heading for Mars. In just a couple of years, Temu became one of the most downloaded apps in the United States, even beating out social media giants. Shein, on the other hand, has become a global fashion titan, churning out thousands of new styles every single day. The volume is mind-blowing. Retail analysts are scratching their heads, trying to figure out how these companies can afford to ship a tiny package halfway across the world for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. It's a statistical anomaly that is forcing everyone from small business owners to billionaire CEOs to reevaluate their strategy. The Retail Apocalypse 2.0 isn't a theory, it's happening right now on your smartphone. But let's be real, whenever something is this cheap, the first thing we all ask is this a scam? You've seen the viral unboxing hauls, right? There's this specific kind of tension when someone opens a package from one of these sites. It's like a loot box in a video game. Sometimes the person pulls out a stunning dress that looks like it cost $100 and they only paid $7. But other times, well, they pull out a shirt that's 2 sizes too small and made of material that looks like a trash bag. It's a viral sensation of hauls that seem way too good to be true, and the internet can't get enough of it. This scam or real factor is actually part of the charm. It creates a weird kind of gambling high that keeps people coming back for more, clicking that buy button just to see what actually shows up. What we are looking at is not just a change in shopping habits, it's a full-blown war for the future of the American mall. Traditional shopping centers are already struggling, and now they are facing a digital wave that offers infinite variety at a fraction of the cost. It's a high-stakes drama where the stakes are trillions of dollars and the control of global consumer data. Can the traditional retail giants survive this ultra-fast fashion and shop like a billionaire era? Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Stay tuned because we are diving straight into the drama behind the apps everyone is downloading but no one fully trusts yet. We are uncovering the dark secrets of the supply chain and the psychological games that keep you addicted to the scroll. This is just the beginning of the battle for your wallet and the soul of commerce. Get ready for a deep dive into the world of Shein and Temu as we explore why the giants are truly and utterly terrified. So who exactly are the masterminds behind this digital takeover? They didn't appear out of nowhere. It is all carefully calculated. Let's start with Shein. Believe it or not, it wasn't founded by a fashion mogul or a designer with a dream. The man behind the curtain is Chris Xu, an American-born SEO specialist who started the company in Nanjing back in 2008. This fashion giant was built by an SEO expert. It makes total sense when you realize Shein isn't really a clothing company. It is a data mining machine that happens to sell fabric. Originally, they were a small site called Zkeko that mostly sold wedding dresses. Can you imagine? From bridal gowns to cheap crop tops. They quickly pivoted, realizing that the real money was in ultra-fast, high-volume trends. They perfected a small batch model, making only 50 to 100 items of a new design to see if it went viral. If it did, they would scale up instantly. It is the ultimate survival of the fittest for your wardrobe. Then we have Temu, the high-energy, chaotic newcomer that has been living rent-free in our heads since 2022. Temu had a massive head start. It is owned by PDD Holdings, the powerhouse that runs Pinduoduo, a social commerce giant in China worth billions of dollars. Temu didn't just enter the US market, they staged a full-blown invasion. Remember those shop like a billionaire commercials during the Super Bowl? That was their grand entrance. They spent an estimated millions on just two 30-second spots. While traditional startups focus on organic growth, Temu went for the juggernaut approach, burning cash to acquire users overnight. They wanted to make sure that the next time you thought about buying a cheap gadget, you didn't think of Amazon. You thought of them. This has left the old guard, retail titans like Amazon, Walmart, and Target, feeling like the uncool older siblings. For decades, these giants dominated with warehouses and stores, but now they feel like liabilities. While Amazon is busy managing its Prime delivery fleet, Shein and Temu are operating with a completely different personality. Shein has positioned itself as the trendy fashionista, the IT girl of the internet who always knows the next aesthetic. On the other hand, Temu is like a digital flea market or a 24-hour carnival. It is chaotic, it is loud, and it is filled with things you didn't even know existed, like tiny umbrellas for your phone or electric vegetable peelers for $2. It is the kind of place where you go to buy one thing and end up with a cart full of 20 items you never knew you needed. The genius of their strategy is the underdog narrative built through social media. They didn't need physical stores or thousands of sales associates. Instead, they tapped into Gen Z influencers. By sending massive boxes of free products to creators on TikTok, they turned regular people into a global sales force. These haul videos created social proof more effective than any billboard. It made these brands feel incredibly accessible to everyone, even if they were multi-billion-dollar corporations. See why the big giants are sweating. But wait, there's a major storm brewing behind all those low prices. There's a massive amount of tension because the big brands are accusing Shein and Temu of playing by a totally different set of rules. Critics argue that while American companies have to deal with strict labor laws, environmental regulations, and heavy import taxes, these new disruptors are finding clever ways to bypass it all. They are essentially saying, hey, we found a cheat code to retail and there's nothing you can do about it. The old guard is panicking because their models weren't built for direct factory to doorstep shipping. Is it a fair fight, or are we watching the rules of global commerce be broken in real time? The stakes couldn't be higher as this battle moves into its next phase. Now, you might be asking yourself, how on earth is it possible to sell a pair of sneakers for $5 and still ship them across the entire Pacific Ocean? It feels like they're breaking the laws of physics, right? Well, it turns out they might just be breaking, or at least very cleverly bending, the laws of international trade. Enter the secret legal cheat code known as the de minimis loophole. This sounds like some boring legal jargon, but it's actually the backbone of the entire Shein and Temu empire. In the United States, there's a rule that says any package with a value under $800 can enter the country duty-free. No taxes, no tariffs, and no massive paperwork. While traditional retailers like Walmart or Target import massive shipping containers filled with thousands of items and pay millions in import taxes, Shein and Temu ship individual packages directly to your doorstep. Each one is under that $800 limit, which means they essentially pay zero in taxes to get that crop top into your hands. It's a massive competitive advantage that has Uncle Sam and the old guard absolutely fuming. But the magic doesn't stop at tax evasion. Let's talk about the factory secret that makes Shein a literal fashion-making machine. Traditional brands usually plan their collections months or even a year in advance. Shein, they do it in days. They've pioneered something called a large-scale flexible supply chain. Imagine a world where every single click you make on their app sends a direct signal to a factory in Guangzhou. If a specific shade of neon green starts trending on TikTok, Shein knows instantly. They order a tiny batch, maybe just 50 pieces. And if those sell out in minutes, the factory ramps up production immediately. It's real-time data driving physical manufacturing. This means they have almost zero wasted inventory, which is the biggest money killer in retail. They aren't guessing what you want, they're watching you want it and making it before you even finish your scroll. Of course, moving that fast comes with some seriously juicy drama. When you're pumping out thousands of new designs every single day. Where do the ideas come from? Well, if you ask independent designers, they'll tell you the ideas are stolen. There are countless legal battles where small artists have found their unique illustrations or clothing patterns copied pixel for pixel and sold on these apps for pennies. It's a copycat culture that has led to some massive lawsuits. Some designers claim that Shein's AI-driven scrapers just crawl the web for popular designs and send them straight to the production line without a second thought. It's a legal minefield, but when you're a multi-billion-dollar titan, a few lawsuits are just the cost of doing business, right? And then there's the Temu experience. Have you noticed how opening the Temu app feels less like shopping and more like walking into a neon-lit casino? This is the gamification trap, and it's totally intentional. You're greeted with spinning wheels, flashing countdown timers, and free gift offers that require you to invite 10 friends to join. It's a psychological masterclass in keeping you hooked. They use dopamine hits to distract you from the fact that you're buying a rechargeable nose hair trimmer you didn't even want. It's addictive, it's chaotic, and it's brilliant. But it also raises a lot of eyebrows. Speaking of eyebrows, the logistics of this operation are a literal nightmare for everyone else. They've managed to turn the world into one giant conveyor belt. By dominating air freight, they are shipping so many small packages that they've actually driven up the cost of air cargo globally. They are moving things faster than some local couriers can get a package across your own state. But at what cost? This brings us to the T everyone is talking about: data privacy. There are persistent rumors that these apps, especially with their deep ties to PDD Holdings, are essentially glorified spyware. Critics warn that the apps might be accessing more than just your shipping address, potentially snooping on your other apps or even your biometric data. While the companies deny this, the fear of foreign tech has government officials on high alert. Finally, let's talk about the price gap. Is it even possible to make a profit on a $2 pair of earbuds? Most experts say absolutely not. In fact, many believe Temu is burning through billions of dollars in cash just to kill the competition. They aren't trying to make money today, they're trying to make sure nobody else is left standing tomorrow. It's a scorched earth strategy where the consumer wins with cheap prices, for now. But what happens when the competition is gone? Is the price of our privacy and local economy worth a $5 blender? The tension is reaching a boiling point as the world watches these giants duel for control of our screens and our spending habits. The phenomenon we're seeing right now isn't just about logistics or tax loopholes. It's fueled by a massive cultural shift driven by Gen Z influencers. Have you scrolled through your TikTok lately and felt like you were drowning in Shein hauls? We're talking about videos with literally billions of views. These aren't just small shopping trips. We're seeing influencers sitting on their bedroom floors surrounded by 50 or even 100 individual plastic bags. It's a literal mountain of clothing that often costs less than a single pair of designer jeans from the mall. This haul culture has turned consumption into a form of entertainment. It's not just about wearing the clothes anymore. It's about the rush of the unboxing, the excitement of showing off a total steal, and the validation of likes. For a generation that grew up with social media, the sheer volume of these hauls provides a constant stream of newness that traditional brands just can't match. It's fast, cheap, and perfectly curated for the algorithm. But here's where things get really spicy. This explosion of dirt cheap goods has created a massive love-hate relationship online. On one side, you have the dedicated bargain hunters who swear by these apps. They'll tell you that in a world where inflation is out of control, being able to buy a cute outfit for $15 is a total lifesaver. It's about accessibility, but on the flip side, you've got the sustainable fashion activists calling for an absolute boycott. They look at these mountains of plastic and polyester and see an environmental catastrophe. They argue that these clothes are disposable fashion, designed to be worn once for a photo and then thrown away, clogging up landfills and polluting the oceans. The tension is real, and the comment sections are often a total war zone between those wanting to look cute and those who say you're literally destroying the planet for a $3 shirt. Who do you agree with? If you want to see the real drama, though, you have to head over to Reddit. The Temu Hall subreddits are a literal goldmine of human emotion and chaotic energy. You'll see people posting their absolute best finds right next to a post from someone who ordered a giant plushie and received something the size of a walnut. It's a total gamble, and honestly, that's part of the draw. People love sharing their wins and laughing at their fails. It's become a community experience where everyone is in on the joke. Meanwhile, over on Twitter, the expectation versus reality memes have gone completely viral. You've seen them, right? A picture of a stunning dress on the app compared to a photo of what looks like a shiny orange garbage bag draped over a person. These viral moments actually act as free marketing because they keep the brand names in the conversation. Even when the quality is questionable, people just can't stop talking about it. And speaking of talking, have you noticed how some celebrities are quietly taking the check to promote these budget apps? While big name luxury brands usually hog the spotlight, more and more influencers and minor stars are accepting sponsorships from Shein and Temu. It's a bit of a hush-hush situation because no one wants to admit they're being paid by companies facing so much heat for labor issues, but the money is clearly there and the reach is undeniable. This leads us right into the heart of the ethical debate. Is it actually classist to criticize people for buying cheap clothes? Many people argue that for families struggling to make ends meet, these apps are the only way to participate in trends. They say that sustainable brands are elite and completely unaffordable, but critics counter that the low prices are only possible because someone is being exploited. Finally, there is the dupe craze. This is where Shein and Temu truly shine as the ultimate disruptors. Why pay $100 for leggings from a famous brand when you can find a dupe on these apps that looks 95% the same for $12? They have mastered cloning luxury items for the masses. Whether it's a designer handbag or a viral skincare tool, if it's trending, you can bet there's a version of it on these apps within a week. This democratization of luxury is a huge middle finger to the old guard brands who rely on exclusivity to maintain their high prices. In the era of the dupe, the logo matters less than the aesthetic, and for millions of shoppers, good enough is perfectly fine if the price is right. But as we keep clicking add to cart, we have to wonder, what are we really paying for in the long run? The story is far from over, and the drama is only getting more intense as the big players start to fight back. The giants are finally waking up and they aren't happy about being outperformed. You've noticed how Amazon usually feels like the undisputed king of the mountain, right? Well, even kings get nervous when a new challenger starts taking over and offering things for a fraction of the cost. Rumors are swirling that Amazon is preparing its own secret weapon to take down Shein and Temu. Word is they're launching a dedicated storefront featuring items mostly under $20, shipped directly from warehouses in China. Imagine that. The world's biggest retailer is trying to clone the apps that are threatening its throne. They're realizing that Prime Speed isn't everything. Sometimes, we're willing to wait 10 days if the price is low enough to make our jaws drop. But can Amazon really capture that chaotic slot machine energy that Temu has perfected? It's a massive culture clash, and the old guard is fighting for its life in a game it no longer controls. While the tech titans are duking it out, the government is finally deciding it's time to join the chat. For a long time, Shein and Temu have been flying under the radar thanks to tax loopholes, but the party might be coming to a sudden end. US regulators are looking at new laws that could scrap the de minimis rule. If that happens, every single one of those tiny packages could be hit with import duties. Can you imagine the fallout? Your favorite $5 sunglasses could suddenly cost $10 or $15 just because of taxes. If that price gap disappears, does the appeal of these apps vanish overnight? There are even whispers of full-blown bans due to persistent data privacy concerns. It sounds extreme, but nothing is truly off the table. The legal drama is just getting started, and it could change the way you shop forever. But wait, there's an even bigger elephant in the room: the planet we all share. We've all seen the massive hauls on our feeds, but have we actually stopped to think about where all that stuff goes? This throwaway culture is reaching a total breaking point. We are talking about millions of tons of carbon emissions and piles of polyester and plastic that don't decompose, filling up landfills across the globe. Activists are getting louder, and the backlash is starting to hit the mainstream media. Will we eventually reach a point where discount fashion becomes as socially unacceptable as plastic straws? Is there a growing sense of discount fatigue starting to set in? Is the thrill of a $1 gadget really worth the long-term environmental cost? Or is the American consumer so hooked on the dopamine hit of a bargain that there's no turning back? It's a psychological tug of war that's playing out in real time. And speaking of high stakes, let's talk hard cash. Shein has been teasing an IPO for what feels like an eternity. If they finally go public and list their shares on the stock market, they'll be forced to open up their secret books for everyone to see. We'll finally get to witness the truth behind the curtain. Are they actually making a profit? Or are they just a massive house of cards built on venture capital and the hope of killing off the competition? The financial world is holding its breath because this could be one of the biggest tech debuts in history. But if the numbers reveal something shady or unsustainable, it could be the beginning of the end for the ultra-fast fashion queen. So what does this mean for your local shopping mall? The future looks like a ghost town. Some experts think stores are doomed to become showrooms. You go there to touch the fabric, then scan a code and buy it cheaper on an app. And someone new like TikTok Shop is waiting to disrupt the disruptors. The war for your wallet is crowded, and the stakes have never been higher. Stay tuned because the landscape is shifting every single day. So where does this leave us in the grand scheme of things? Are we looking at the definitive future of how we buy everything, or is this just a very loud, very cheap bubble waiting for a pin to drop? It's the million-dollar question that's keeping retail experts and Wall Street analysts awake at night. On one hand, the sheer efficiency of these giants is terrifyingly impressive. They've managed to turn the supply chain into a real-time response machine that can jump on a trend before it even hits the peak of its viral cycle. But on the other hand, you have to wonder if a business model built on dodging taxes and selling $3 electronics can actually last forever. History is littered with disruptors that burned bright and fast, only to disappear when the subsidies ran out or the lawsuits finally caught up with them. Is the shop like a billionaire dream really sustainable, or is it just a clever marketing mask for a race to the bottom? For us, the everyday shoppers, the takeaway is a bit of a mixed bag. It's okay to love a bargain. Who doesn't want to save money in an economy that feels more expensive by the day? But we have to start shopping with our eyes wide open. You've definitely seen those spin the wheel pop-ups or the urgent limited time only countdowns that make you feel like you're winning a jackpot, haven't you? That's not luck. It's high-level psychological engineering designed to bypass your common sense and trigger a dopamine hit. If you're gonna dive into these apps, you've gotta be incredibly savvy, check the reviews obsessively, and don't just look at the 5-star ones that sound like they were written by a bot. Look for the photos from real people who are holding the product in their actual hands. And for heaven's sake, maybe don't link your primary bank account or your main email directly to an app that's under federal investigation. Protecting your digital identity is just as important as finding a dupe for that designer jacket. Stay smart. Because if a deal looks too good to be true, it's usually because your data is the actual product being sold, not just the cheap sunglasses in your cart. This isn't just about whether your new hoodie shrinks after the very first wash, or if those earbuds sound like they're underwater. This is Retail Apocalypse 2.0, and the stakes are global. We are witnessing a massive shift in economic power that could redefine the next 50 years. For decades, the US and its giant retailers dictated exactly how the world shopped. But now, the script has been completely flipped. These Chinese giants are bypassing the middleman, the traditional mall, and even the big-budget advertisers to talk directly to your smartphone 24/7. It's a bold new world where the winner isn't necessarily the company with the best quality, but the one with the most addictive algorithm. The struggle between the old guard like Amazon and Walmart and these newcomers is really a battle for the soul of the global economy. Are we okay with a world where everything is disposable as long as it's cheap? But enough about the big picture. Let's talk about you and your own experiences. We've all seen the glossy ads, but what's the reality when that orange package actually arrives? Have you ever been scammed by a Temu ad that promised a high-tech kitchen gadget but sent you something that looked like it came out of a cereal box? Or maybe you're one of the lucky ones who actually found the deal of a lifetime, like a perfectly functional pair of shoes for the price of a fancy coffee. We want to hear the truth. Drop your haul horror stories or your most legendary success stories in the comments below. Did that $12 dress actually fit, or did it end up looking like a napkin? Let's get a real conversation going about what's actually arriving at our doorsteps. Your experience might just save someone else from a major shopping fail or help them find a hidden gem. Looking at the horizon, the next 12 months are going to be the ultimate stress test for the entire retail industry. Between the potential high-stakes IPO for Shein, The looming threat of new regulations from Washington, and Amazon's desperate attempt to launch its own under $20 storefront, the war for your wallet is about to get even crazier. We are going to see if these brands can successfully transition from being a cheap alternative to becoming a trusted household name. If they can't fix their reputation for low quality, stolen designs, and ethical concerns, they might find that even the most price-conscious consumers have a limit to how much disposable junk they can stomach. The novelty factor of the digital flea market is high right now, but will the fatigue set in once the excitement wears off? In the end, the power is still in your hands. Every click, every download, and every add to cart is a vote for the kind of future you want to see. Will it be a world of endless, cheap variety where nothing is meant to last, or will we see a return to quality, transparency, and sustainability? Only time will tell which side wins out. For now, keep your eyes on your packages, your bank statements, and your data even closer. The retail world is changing at lightning speed, so stay savvy, keep your wits about you, and happy shopping if you dare. This has been the deep dive into the apps that are shaking the world. Stay smart, stay savvy, and we will see you in the next one.